my dear friends. I hope that you can hear me well. So, if you can hear me well, please write something in the chat so that I know that you can hear me and you can see the screen, so that I know that everything is okay. So, let us start actually. I'm glad to see you. And today we have a next topic. Let me open our work file. Yes, you can hear me. Oh, the file. Yeah, where we worked the last time. So today we will continue working on our file. We will create new tables. We will go on with the next topic. And actually, these topics again are not very difficult, but they are important. And we will, by the end of the lecture, we will start getting to know the new formulas, maybe the formulas that you know. We will start revising them so that the next lecture we can actually start working with difficult and more complex formulas. So I'm glad that you can hear me, and I'm glad that you came today. So let us start. In case you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat, because I can see the chat. I will be able to answer your questions in case you have them. And of course, I will ask you some questions during the lecture. So be ready. Well, let's go on and see what we have here. Nice. So a couple of tables that we had before. Well, let me just hide the dog so that you can see everything. Okay, so today, right now, we're going to speak a little bit about how to copy data, how to move data to another cell or another range, then how to delete data. So these are the basics of Excel. Of course, we will try to divide the text into columns. We will learn how to delete duplicate values. And of course, we will speak about the autofill function of Excel, which is very, well, helpful most of the times. So the first point of our lecture is how to copy, cut, and insert different data, maybe different rows, columns, and cells in and to Excel worksheets. So let's create a new table. We have lecture 2 value here. I'm just trying to make it a little bit bigger. So let's have a new table. We have a new information about our employee. So let's have the employee name and, well, number of deals. How many deals our employee did during this or that period. So we make the header because, well, it is much better to have a table with headings, as I have already mentioned in the previous class. Let us say that we have an employee whose name is Peter. Let's start with the last name, Johnson Peter. Number of deals, let us be 5. Next, we will have, I don't know, let's say Jordan, Maria, Martin, Ricky, then, well, Iglesias, Enrique, then Belfort, Robert, and maybe a little bit of Joe Doe, like this. And number of deals, let's have 6, 10, 12, 3 and 11. So what do we have now? We have a simple, very simple table, and now we can say that, well, for example, Peter Johnson made 5 deals in September. Yep, that's okay. But what if we have a new period and we need to fill in the table one more time? Let's just add a new column. How to do this? Well, easily you can find Insert tab here and you can insert sheet columns. Just press it and we have a new column right now. Let's write date, because why not? Date. Use the paint bucket tool and let us say that it is going to be the 1st of February, then 12th of February, then 15th or 16th of February, then 24th of February, yeah, like this. Nice. Let's move them to date as well. Short date, it's going to be short date as well. Then we have 25th of February and finally 27th of February. So they made a specific number of deals, and then we see that, for example, on 13th of March Peter Johnson made 1 deal. Then on the 15th of March Peter Johnson made 6 deals, and on the 20th of March Peter Johnson made 11 deals. So how to do this? Of course, let's just insert some dates, and 20th of March. But what if we need to enter Peter Johnson several times? Of course, we can input Peter Johnson several times manually by the keyboard, like Peter Johnson, or in our case we have Johnson, Peter. But pay attention that right now Excel proposes us to use the autofill feature, which is similar to copying and pasting. So Excel proposes us to choose the value from the proposed ones, let us say, from the drop-down list below. We can just enter Johnson Peter, and Johnson Peter, like this. Let's have 5, 11, and 2. Well, actually, when we speak about copying data in Excel, this option is, well, one of the easiest one. But what if we want the additional features? There are actually several approaches to copying and pasting values in Excel. So the first one is as simple as that. We can copy the whole column or the whole row or the whole cell, let us say, with just a simple shortcut, keyboard shortcut that you probably know. This shortcut is called Ctrl-C or Ctrl-V. Ctrl-C to copy and Ctrl-V to paste. Of course, if you use MacBooks, Macs in general, you would not have Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, but you will have Command-C and Command-V. That's not very difficult. So let us say that we want to have Johnson Peter. Let's say we want to have Ricky Martin. Command C or Control C to copy, and then we go anywhere, press there, and then Control V or Command V, and now we have Ricky Martin in the other place. So nothing difficult, absolutely nothing difficult. We can do the same just with copying the whole row. It may be the whole column as well. Pressing Command C or Control C, and then, by the way, pay attention that when you have several cells, they will start inserting from the very first cell. For example, if we press Control V or Command V right here, we will have 3 cells like that. That's why we need to pass the values in the first cell, like this. So this is not very difficult. But, by the way, one additional feature of Excel, how to change the values. For example, we made a mistake here, or we forgot, let's say on the 1st of March, we forgot that we do not have Jordan or Jordan Peter, we have Johnson Peter. We made a mistake. We can retype our data, which is, well, not so difficult. But if you want to change the certain letters or certain words, you can just double click the cell and you will have the ability to manage the certain values like this. So this is how we do it. Then, what if we don't want to copy the cell or the row or the column, but what if we want to move them to another place? For this, we do not use Ctrl C or Ctrl V shortcuts. We will use a shortcut which is called Ctrl X, which cuts the value to the clipboard. So, how to do this? Let's say that we want to move our Ricky Martin to the top. We press Command X, go there, and press Command V. And that's all. So Ricky Martin is right here. You see we have a gap there. And by the way, pay attention, I will just go back, that Peter Johnson, which was in the first place before, is not in its place right now. So this may be bad for you. That is why we can move our values without deleting the previous ones. How to do this? Absolutely in the same very way. We just copy it, cutting it to the clipboard, Command or Ctrl X, then we go there, press right click on the button, we have Pass Special. Oh, we have passed, this is the standard way, and we do not look at Pass Special, of course, because we see the Insert Cut Cells. Just press there, and of course do not forget that we want to go to the first cell, right click, Insert Cut Cells, and now we have Martin Ricky, and Peter Johnson is still there in the table, and we do not have the gap. This is the key. So this way we can just move the values with or without deleting the previous values of the column. So how to delete the values? There is nothing difficult again. Well, we can just select the values that we would like to delete and press delete. That's all. But if we want to delete the row, we just take the row, and here we can see delete feature, delete cells. And now we do not have the cell in that case. And finally, what if we would like to insert a new manager in our table? Of course, we can write a new name right here. For example, Frederick Jane. And we want to move her to this list. We can copy it by Command C or Command X. We just go there and we can press right click and we can insert copied cells. And you see that we have an option to shift cells right or shift cells down. What if we shift cells right? Well, let's try to. You see, the previous name goes to the right and the number of deals goes to the right as well. So they move one cell to the right. But what if we insert copied cells and shift the cells down? You see, all the cells did a step down and the Jane moved to the cell where we wanted to. So this is how we work with the values when we want to copy them, to cut them, or to delete them. Please tell me, do you have any questions about cutting, copying, and deleting values in Excel? No questions. Okay, let's go on. Now we will speak about the deletion of the duplicate values. So actually, we have a tool that allows us to manage the duplicated values. So, what is the problem that we can usually face? Especially nowadays when a lot of work is done. Well, online, let us say so, especially with the expansion of the remote work, there are a lot of situations when a lot of people work on one Excel or Google Docs or any other file. And there is the problem that when we work this way, we may have mistakes in the document. Because a lot of people work in one file and a lot of people can insert their own data. So let's create a new table, and let's just imagine that we have a great team to work with. So let me see. What are we going to do? So let's go this way. For example, we want to have several countries listed in the table. How are we going to do this? I suppose this is not going to be very difficult, but it may be if we have a lot of people working on one table, of course. So, let's see that we have country. Let's make it bold. Country, let's paint it, and we will have several information pieces. So what we do have, for example, the first person joins the file and starts working in it, and they write Belarus, Ukraine, Poland, China, USA, United Kingdom. Okay, let's have United Kingdom and United States. Then we have Greece, and that's all for the first person. The next person also enters this file and starts filling this table down. They want to say Belarus, Russia, United Kingdom. Then they want to say, well, United States. Then we have the third person joining our table, and they write China, Poland, Lithuania, and France. And I suppose the first person enters the table and they just want to write a couple of values, maybe Germany, China, and Belarus. Very good. So, what do we have? What do we have? Right now, we have several countries, and you already see that we have a lot of duplicates. In Excel, we have the tool that allows us to delete the duplicate values automatically. How do we work with the table? So let us say that we want to have the duplicates. We go to the tab which is called Data, and we have Data Validation, and next to Data Validation we have Remove Duplicates. We press Remove Duplicates, press OK, and now you see that 7 duplicate values were found and removed. So 11 unique values remain. So this is not very difficult. I guess so. Then let's go back and try to write the capital. We go to the main. Belarus is Minsk, Ukraine is Kyiv, Poland is Warsaw, China is Beijing, then United States is Washington, United Kingdom is, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, of course I'm not mistaken, is London. Then Greece is Athens, Belarus is Minsk, we have Moscow, United Kingdom again, London, United States, Washington, China, Beijing, Poland, Warsaw, Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken, this is Vilnius. Then we have France, it's Paris, Germany, Berlin, China, Beijing, and Belarus, Minsk. And some of additional information, we want to have ID. And we want to give the ID numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 11 values. 18 values in our table. Now let's try to use the duplicate deletion feature. Remove duplicates, and right now you can see if I press OK, no duplicate values are found. So what is the problem? And actually the problem is pretty simple, that if we have duplicates there but we have unique ID numbers, these are not considered as duplicates. That's why when we press remove duplicates, you see that we can select column A, column B and column C. Of course, it's much better do it like this. So what are we going to do? Well, actually, so that to find the duplicates we just do not need to have the column C. We press OK, and now you see that we deleted duplicates right away. This way we are able to see the duplicates according to the country and the capital. We do not look at the ID. So just press it, deselect the unique value, column C, and press OK. This way it is much better to work with the duplicate values. So, do you have any questions about the duplicates and how to work them? How to work with them? No questions. Okay. Okay, very good. So, now, what we need to do? We need to understand how to work with the text and the data in the cells, which are in a very interesting or strange format. So sometimes you will have the table files that are not Excel tables, but they contain the information that is divided not by the cells. They may be divided by spaces or by columns. So what you may have in this table. For example, we have a lot of names in one cell. Let us say that I have the list of the names. Let's say that we have 20 of them. And let me just pass them to the Excel. Match destination formatting. Yeah, now it looks much better. So, this is how we got our information in one cell. And what if we do not want to have it in a one cell only? We need to divide them into two cells. How to do this? Well, for this task, we need a special feature of Excel that allows us to work with different data in different cells and just divide them by columns. How to work with that? So you have the Data tab, the same tab where you found the Remove Duplicates, you have Text to Columns feature. Just press on it and you have two values here. Of course, we see that the division should be made by the spaces. That is why we use delimited. Press next. choose space, and you see right away our values are divided in the preview of our Excel window. Press next. Of course, you can change the date, the formats of the data, but we have the general data format. That is why we press finish. You can choose the destination, for example here, but I suppose that we will keep it right as where it were, and we press finish. And now our names and last names are divided into two columns. Nothing difficult. Of course, we may have the same thing. What we do have here. For example, you remember this table. Let us delete everything and let us Command C, Command V, and now we need to divide this text into columns. So the process is going to be absolutely the same. We press text to columns, use delimited. Next, instead of space, we are going to have comma. We press next, and everything is general, so press finish, and we've got our text divided into columns. So this is not very difficult. But sometimes you may have another task to complete. So let us say that we have a date. And we use a space, and we have a sum of money, 10,000 rubles. Then we have and in space we're going to have 15. Let's have 25. And we want to divide it into columns as well. So sometimes what you may have, or what you may want to do, is when you divide text to columns, instead of delimited, you may use fixed widths. So this applies mostly to the data which has absolutely the same widths, like data, date format, different number formats, different amount of money, and so on. So now you see that we have absolutely the same formatting, and the width is absolutely the same. So we go next, and then we can move the divider, which will allow us to divide our columns between our values. We can create new dividers, which is, well, not necessary there. That is why let's just delete them by clicking twice on them and press next. This is going to be date, day, month, year. Yeah, pretty good. This one is going to be, well, it is not date. Decimal separator, we do not need this, so it's going to be general. Let's press finish, and now we have the dates and we have the sums of money. So this way we are able to divide our text into columns in a very easy way. So is this information clear for you? Do you have any questions about the division of the values into columns? No questions. Okay, very good. So, the next point that we need to find out, that we need to understand, is connected with the autofill feature of Excel. So what is the autofill or the drag feature of Excel? Well, this is just the function or the functionality that allows us to mass copy the cells in accordance with this or that, well, order or pattern or anything else. So let us create a new table. We will just create a column which is called number, make it bold, paint it, and we want to fill this column with the values starting from 1 to 20. How to do this? Well, we can do this manually, like 1, 2, of course this is not the date, that is why we'll just choose the general format. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth, which is, well, going to take us a long time because we will do it manually. And when we have 20 values, this is okay, but what if we need 1000 values or 2000 values? This is going to take us a lot of time. That is why let us delete all these values, press on the cell where we have 1, and you see right at the right bottom corner of the cell we have a small square. Just when we put our mouse pointer on this small square, we've got a plus sign appearing on the cell, and if we hold the left click or the left mouse button, we hold it and we can drag it down. So if we drag it down till the 21, because 21 minus 1 is 20, we can release it. And now you see that all the values are copied and we have a lot of 1 numbers. How to manage them and turn them to the needed order, the needed pattern. So you see right at the bottom we have the icon which allows us to use the options of autofill. You can press it and you see that we have fill series. We can use fill series and now we have 20 numbers in an ascending order, which is a very useful tool actually. So there's nothing difficult. Of course, you can use something different, like just copy cells. You can fill formatting only, which is not needed, fill without formatting, and flash fill. But of course, we do not have any data. That is why we just fill series. So this is pretty easy. What else can we do with the autofill feature? Actually, we have a lot of possibilities. So let's have a date column. It's going to be bold. Going to have some dates. Let's have the 1st of April. And we want to drag it down. What do we have? We have 20 dates in ascending order. And of course, if we use the options, we can copy cells, we can fill series, fill formatting, fill without formatting, and we have several additional features for data types. We can fill days, like this, when we have the difference with days only. We can fill weekdays, which helps us to use like the working days order. Then you see that tomorrow we have a weekend, yeah, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and the Monday is going to be the 4th of April. This is pretty simple. We can fill months, and you can see that instead of days we have the months in the order. We can fill years, and now we have a lot of years right there. What I like actually is just to fill days. For this case, this would be enough for us. So you can see that with dates we have a lot of features with the autofill function of Excel. Let's get a new column, which is going to be order amount. Press bold, paint it. And what if we want to have different order amounts in ascending order with a step equal to $500, euro, or rubles? Let us say that we're going to start with 1,000, and the next should be 1,500. How to do this? Well, the solution is pretty simple. We just press and type in like 1,500. Then we check these two cells, find the little cross, hold the left mouse button and drag it down. And now we have everything with a step of 500. Let us say Belarusian rubles. So this is not very difficult. Next, what we can do with autofill feature is actually do absolutely the same horizontally, not vertically only. For example, we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we want to use 1 only, we can also fill series as well. This is not difficult. What if we have even or uneven numbers? Let's say uneven. If we speak about uneven, we have all the numbers with 1, 3, 5, etc. that do not divide by 2. Let's have 1, 3, and all uneven numbers are just the numbers with the step of 2. And this way we work with them. If we want the even numbers, we are going to do absolutely the same. We just go there, add the step of 2 between the numbers and do absolutely the same. So this is not very difficult. And the final task for the autofill feature is going to look like the following. Let us say that we are going to have a timetable about the fundamentals of IT. Actually, let's say that we have a table and we need to find the dates of the fundamental of IT classes. So what are we going to do? Let's imagine that we have classes not on Friday only, but on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have the first date. It is going to be, let us say, what do we have as the Monday? Yep. We have 28th, 30th. Yeah, very good. 28th of March. Then we have 30th. And So how to find the dates of the next classes? We just try to drag it down. But what you can see is that all the dates are just moved by a day. So we have next Sunday, then Tuesday, and so on and so forth. These are not right dates. That is why we go to Autofill options and we fill weekdays. Weekdays that are working days. We fill weekdays, and now we have the 4th, the 6th, the 8th, and so on and so forth. So we have the 4th, the 6th, the 8th, 11th, 13th, and so on. Nothing actually difficult. I hope so. So, can you please tell me, do you have any questions about the autofill feature of Excel? No questions. Okay. Very good. No questions. Very good. Maybe. So let's go on. Let's say that we have a very big table. It is going to be huge, actually. So let's create several columns, like the number. Oh, let's have ID, then order amount, and we have date, and we have city. ID is going to be from 1 to 1000. Let us autofill it. Like this. Yeah, it's going to take a long time. Somewhere here. Nice. Let's have 1000 values. Very good. Then we have everything in bold. Order amount. Well, let's have everything starting with 100. Let's have 500, then 1000. By the way, if you have 1000 values, it is very difficult to fill everything in with autofill feature, because it's going to be taking a very long time, as you have already mentioned. So how to deal with this problem? Well, this is not very difficult if you know the step of the autofill, or if you know the autofill features. Instead of dragging everything down, you can just find this plus sign and double click it like this, and you can see that we have already all the values inserted. Then we go with the date. Let's say that we start with go like this. Very good. And the city. Well, I suppose that we can go with city A, city B, city C. So this would be absolutely enough. We will have them as duplicate values. This is absolutely not a problem. So you see that now this table is big and we cannot see all the table. So if you want to make the table bigger, you remember how to drag everything, how to make the columns bigger, columns wider, or the rows higher. But what if you want to see a little bit more of the table? Of course you can try to go with your mouse, but you have also the feature to change the scale of your document. Let us say so. You have this 150% right now, as I do show you in this scale, but you can make it bigger or you can make it smaller. And you see that we almost have all the table here. But of course it is not very comfortable to work with, and that is why you can adapt this scale at your own taste. Of course, you can also see the possibility to change the scale when you press the percentage. I love 150%. This is absolutely enough for me to show you the examples. I can go even bigger a little bit, but this would be, well, not bad, but too much. Let us just use custom 175%. This is okay. An additional way to change the scale of your document is just go into the View tab, and you can see zoom or zoom to selection options that can help you manage the scale of the document. And finally, about the working with big tables, what you need to know is that you are able to actually fix or freeze the areas in Excel. For example, when we go down, we do not have the headers right there, and this way we can get a mistake because we just forgot what the numbers do mean. So how to work with that? Now, fixing values, or fixing rows, or fixing columns is going to help you with this problem. Well, how to do this? We go to the View tab, and you see we can the ability to freeze panes, freeze top row, or freeze first column. In this case, we need to freeze the top row. We just press it. You see I have pressed it, and now when we go down, we have the top row frozen. Not very difficult. If we do not want, or if we want to unfreeze the rows, we just press unfreeze panes, and now nothing is frozen. The same goes with freeze first column. When we go right, we can see the first columns always. Unfreeze all. And what if we want to freeze the first column and the first row Everything is simple. We just use the freeze panes button, but you need to see that when we check the columns and rows, we have them crossing at one cell. And you need, for example, the top row and the left column, they cross the ID, and what you want is to freeze everything when you tap the 500 value. Why there? Because this is the value which is right in the corner of two ranges, of the top column and of the top row and the left column. So you go there, you freeze panes, and now you see we have this and that panes frozen, like this and like that. Nothing difficult. We can unfreeze them as well. By the way, this can also help you, like manual freezing of the panes, when you insert the sheet columns, or let's get insert the sheet rows. Let's insert one more time. We just merge them. We have the title of the table. Let's make it big, like bold. And we want to see the title all the time. So if we go to view and freeze top row, we will freeze the title of table only, which is not very comfortable. That is why we go there, for example, ID, because we do not need the first column. And we press freeze panes. And now you see that the title of the table is still visible on the table. So this is not a very difficult task, but you need to know how to manage it. So please tell me, do you have any questions about this task, about freezing panes and working with big tables? Is everything clear? No questions. I see. Clear. Very good. Okay, let's go on. Now we will speak about the basic Excel formulas. We will start working with them. And first of all, what we need to understand is what is a function or a formula. So in Excel, we have functions and formulas, and well, in general, I can tell you that functions and formulas can be considered synonyms in Excel, actually. So what is formula? So if we go on a simple level, it is just a combination of the input the combination of the input and output parameters that the function outputs. So you can just imagine a black box, and we have the input values that go just in this black box. Then we have the output values that we get out of this black box, and inside this black box something happens. So everything that happens inside and the black box itself is or can be considered functions or formulas in Excel. So right now we will speak about simple, very simple functions. So the first simple function in Excel, let's go to, well, I do not need the new node. Let's go to 175. Very good. The first function that we're going to speak about is the operation of summing the values up. You know the input parameters. We have two numbers and the input parameters. And as the output, we have the sum of these values. So we can say absolutely the same about the other math operations. And, well, let's start working with them. So basic operations, basic formulas. Let's have 5 plus 7. If you press enter, you will just have 5 plus 7. It is not the deal. In order to start entering the function, you need to press equal sign at first, and then you can write 5 plus 7, and you have 12. You can also write 5 minus 7, you got minus 2. The same goes with 5 multiply, the multiplication. A multiplication mark is the asterisk. 5 multiplied by 7, 35. And finally, equal 5 divide by 7. The division is represented by the slash. And we have different values. So, of course, if we speak about the data representation, this view is not very beautiful. As for me, that is why you can make the number of characters after the comma a little bit lower. You can decrease decimal like this, or you can increase decimals like this, which is not very beautiful. That is why let's decrease them to 2 characters after the comma. Okay, so these are the basic arithmetic operations. I suppose that you understand how to work with them. So let's have a new table. We're going to have last name, then we have first name, then we're going to have job position, salary, and bonus. Let's have everything in bold, and let's let me just insert, I suppose 10 values would be enough, maybe 13, I don't know, 14. Let's have 15. This would be beautiful. I just copy them, match destination, and of course I need to divide this text into columns. Let's go to data, text to columns, just divide them. We have space, next, we have general, we can advanced, no, we don't want them. Let's go with, let's go right there, and we need the last name first, so you remember that we want Command X, just press there, right click, insert, cut cells. And now we have the last names there and the first names there. Nothing difficult. About the job positions, we're going to have the director, probably, head of the department, manager, secretary, intern, another head of the department, manager, intern, security, driver, secretary, manager, and head of the department. Very good. Okay, so now we just want to enter the salaries. And let us say that the director is going to have 50,000 rubles, head of the department is going to have 45,000 rubles. Let's just copy these values. Manager is going to get 30,000 rubles. Manager. Oh. Copy, paste. Secretary is going to have 12,000 rubles. Then intern is going to have 50,000 rubles. Security is going to have 10,000 rubles, and driver is going to have 15,000 rubles. Like this. And well, what would we like to have? We would like to have a bonus section. Let us imagine that everybody gets from 1 to 3,000 rubles of the bonuses. 1,000, 3,000 rubles, maybe 5,000 rubles, 4,000 rubles, 2,000 rubles. Like this. So our task right now is to find out how much money every employee is going to get. So everything is pretty simple. We just get the total column and we are going to use the formula. So to start the formula, we just go with the equal sign. You remember about it? Nothing difficult. And then instead of writing all the values right like this, we are going to select the cells that we want to sum. So we choose the cell, press plus, and then use bonus. We go like this, double click, and everything is filled in. Nothing difficult. So pay attention that all the values are done in the very same way with the autofill function. So you remember that D3, E3 is just D3. That means that we have column D and the row 3. So this is the value that we have here. Nothing difficult. I hope so. Well, of course, the numbers are not very clear right now, so we can use different data types. As for me, I love, instead of maybe money type, I love this comma button, which helps us to make our values a little bit more clear. At least they look like money right now. Maybe we want somebody to be without the bonus. For example, interns, they're not going to have the bonus at all, of course, and maybe one manager worked very bad, so they're not going to get the bonus as well. So this is the basic table that we are going to work with now. Then, how do the operations of multiplication and division work? You already remember the signs that we use, or the characters that we use in order to multiply and divide numbers. So now we will just use them in our table. Let us count the phi sum So we're going to have the phi sum, or maybe not the phi, let's have the tax. tax. And in order to count the fee number, we are going to use the tax as the 13% of the, well, salary. Let's press equal sign, we take salary, and we multiply it by 13%. Press enter, and now we have all the taxes counted as well. So nothing difficult. And what if we try to find the salary per day values? Nothing difficult. We go the same salary divide by, for example, in a month we've got 4 weeks, and 4 weeks is just 5 days multiplied by 4. We have 20 days. Divide by 20, and this is the salary that they got per day. So nothing difficult, absolutely nothing difficult. But these are just the basic operations. So next, what we would like to do is to work with the last names and the first names of our employees. For example, we want to send all of them the emails, and in the emails we want to use their last names and first names. So how to work with the text, the most basic features of working with text? Well, let's say first name or full name, and we want to have first name and last name together. How are we going to do this? Of course, you can say that we want to put a plus sign there, but we will have a mistake. We have an error there. So, to do this, to complete this task, we need to concatenate our text values. And to do this, we can use the ampersand or @ character. We can just go to equal, Cameron, go ampersand or @ symbol, and Clemens. And now we have Cameron Clemens, but without the space. So, in order to be able to represent everything correctly, we need to add a space between these values. And to add a space, we can just use the quotation marks, put space, close quotation marks, and one more of the ampersand. We press enter, so just pay attention. We have first name, here it is, I have ampersand to connect it to the space, it is right here, and so that space or any other text symbol is still readable in the formula. You need to use double quotation marks, and then we connect them with the last name. We press enter, and we have the full names right here. Nothing difficult. And the last one, I suppose the last feature that I'm going to show you is that we need to use the USD values of our total salaries. For example, we need our total salaries to be represented in USD. So we go and create a new column which is called total in USD, or we can say just total USD. And what are we going to do? Actually, to find the total salary with the bonuses are represented in USD, we just need to divide the total value by the current USD rate. Let's create a new cell, USD rate. Let's make it bold, and let's fill it in with the green color. And the current USD rate is if I'm not mistaken, 3 and 30, 3 and 21. And what we need to do is just to divide the total, we go with equal sign, total, delete by, divide by the USD rate. Press enter, and now we have all the values here. And if I drag it down, you see that I have a lot of errors that speak or that tell us that we have the division by 0. So let us see what the problem is. If we go to the first column, like the first cell, you see that we divide total by the USD rate. If we go to the next cell, you see that we divide total, which is, well, respectively what we need, by not the USD rate actually. We divide it by 0 because USD rate is situated to the top of the current value. So what does that mean? Actually, the major point there is that the cells may be fixed and the columns and the rows may be fixed as well. So how to fix the cell? Well, in order to fix the columns or the rows or the cell itself, we use the dollar signs. How does that look like? You see, we need to fix the USD rate. We need to fix this cell, but we need this cell not to move down. That is why we just can fix the row. We have 18 as the row right there, and we can put a dollar sign before the row number. We press enter and we go down, everything is still the same. If we want, for example, to go to the left or to the right, we will have to fix the column number, and that means that we would fix it by putting the dollar sign before the column title, like J, A, B, C, and so on and so forth. And it will look like this, but of course it will not help us, because you see everything goes down. The row does not change, the column does not change, so that is not the matter. And if we want to fix the cell, the whole cell or the whole range, we just need to put dollar signs everywhere, before the column title and before the row number. So we put it like this, and we drag it down using the autofill feature. So this is what we do have. Because in Excel, we have different types of links. We have related links or relational links, and we have absolute links. Related links, they do change when the Excel automatically refills the values. If we speak about absolute links, they do not change. This is the point, and you need to understand how to work with the fixed and unfixed, or the absolute or related cells. So, do you have any questions considering the formulas or fixed or non-fixed cells? Is everything clear? No questions? Everything is clear. Okay. So, right now, thank you very much for the lecture. We're going to have a short break, 10 minutes break, and then we can start completing the lab, the next lab. So thank you very much for the lecture and see you on the lab. Bye bye.